So coming to you here in Geneva, I guess we get a lot of calls asking, should I get an architect to manage my renovation project or a contracting renovation company? It depends on your project. So we're going to get into the differences, question and answers, and we can see what your project really needs. Usually it's not one or the other, it's a mix of both. When your renovation needs some specific application permits, architects are needed. For the execution, it depends on your architect's experience, the site coordination that will be needed. So it depends on the level of complexity and also the timeline you need. So depending on your project, we can have architect side, contractor side, or maybe a mix of both. It is good if you have an architect to also include your contractor. But if you have just a contractor, it's a contractor role to manage this from the get-go. A good preparation will set you up for on budget, on time. We'll discuss all the risks, and then we'll mitigate all the risk and budget that are associated to your project. It's the responsibility of whoever you're hiring, whether it's an architect or a company. You should have a feasibility study that tells you if what you want to do will be feasible and what are the limits or the conditions for that to happen. This should be whoever manages the site. This is why you need to have somebody, an architect or your company, to make sure they come really often to manage problem solve on site, not come once a week and then solve the problems after. People need to follow up with your sites on the daily. And the tighter the guidelines, the tighter the timeline, the tighter your supervision needs to be. It needs to be assigned to somebody. So not all architects will do it. And if your architect will do it, it needs to be mandated for it. Same with renovation companies. They need to be doing that for you, especially for complex projects. So you need to be sure somebody is assigned to it, unless you want to do it yourself, which we don't recommend. That should be managed also on the daily almost, because changes, problem solving will happen all along. So it's decisions you need to be made as you manage the project. So whether it's within the sequencing, regarding the timeline, you need to have somebody manage it on the daily, so your project stays on budget and on track. Now, we often have questions about change orders because we need to change something, a condition is discovered during demolition or during renovation, we need to make adjustment, a decision is made, a change is desired. So how do we change that? It's really important to document it, and the best way is to document it and approve it. Then the decision is documented, is archived, and the budget is updated if need be. You need to have somebody responsible for the project, whether it's the architect who takes the architectural direction and the direction of work, but sometimes it's a shared direction. We work with architects who take the architectural and we take the direction of work, and sometimes we take it all. So you need to have at least somebody defined for that. Somebody needs to be responsible, otherwise nobody's responsible, and that's where confusion happens. So you need to have one point of contact who will be able to tell you what is happening, why and when. So it's important to say that in Geneva, there's different mandates for the design, the permit application, and the direction of work, the management on site. So it's not all the time, and you cannot assume that if you got somebody to design your project, an architect, interior designer, you name it, that they will also take the management of work, because they can also do it, but that would be a different mandate. So make sure when you hire somebody that all these sequences are mandated for and assigned to somebody. Because then somebody needs, once the design is made, somebody needs to be responsible of the execution, the coordination on site, the timeline, follow-up, the planning, the budget. These are things you cannot assume. It's not because somebody designed your project that you can hire anybody to make it. Somebody needs to organize and orchestrate that for you.